Hello random people, welcome to Random Garage, the channel where we're always doing something. Today on Random Garage we'll be installing this here Kuryakyn 10-inch Wanderbar stereo thingy onto a 2021 Road King Special. Open up the box here, instructions. So there it is. It's got Bluetooth for your phone, hardwires into the bike, and it's also has a rechargeable battery inside of it, so it can be disconnected from the bike and just used like as a garage stereo. There's even a flashlight on the end of it. Over here, so I believe in there additional. There's a USB port to charge your phone if you need. The connector. That side is the USB charging plug-in, which is, that's why they gave the block there. And there's a cable to plug it in, USB-C. And I do not see a wiring harness to attach this thing to the bike. What's included in the kit? The soundbar, charging cable, and the wall charger. So it doesn't even include mounts to actually mount it to a bike or the wiring harness. So that stinks. So here we are. Motorcycle and UTV mounting kits sold separately. I did not realize that. Going to have to get the kit. Okay, so here is the mount kit. There's clamps in a whole bunch of different sizes. There's the wiring harness. Oh, give some tie wraps, hardware, and these would be the actual upright quick detach or quick release mount pieces, so the stereo can be removed from the bike and just, you know, taken to the campsite or whatever you want to do with it. We've got the seat and the left side saddlebag off, and then just pull off this side cover. The stereo is going to need to connect directly to the battery, so I'll be, you know, obviously disconnecting the battery. To do that on a bike with security like this bike, if you just disconnect the battery, the security system's gonna go crazy. This doesn't have an alarm, but it'll still flash the lights and flash the lights and flash the lights until you reconnect the battery and approach it with the fob. But to disable the security system, you just have to have the fob present, turn the bike on, and then pull out that main fuse. Then you can disconnect the battery and the security system won't freak out. Come on, turn on. Well, it did not appreciate that. That's the way it's supposed to work. So it's doing that until flip the switch back off, and then it relaxes. Now we're going to need to take the fuel tank off in order to run the wiring harness along the backbone underneath the tank. Start by disconnecting the fuel collet here. You're supposed to relieve pressure in the system, but I just let it drip a little bit. I just use rag or napkins to catch the spillage. Lift up on this collar, and then that pulls down. A couple drips of fuel come out of there, but I caught them all with the napkin. Next, we're going to disconnect this connector here, because that's the harness that goes up to the gauges on the dash. And then unplug this fuel vent line, if we can get it to separate. And we'll take out these two bolts at the back of the tank. And here at the front of the tank on each side, just pull off that rubber cover and then pull out that bolt on each side at the front of the tank. Coming out the bottom of the tank here on the left side is the wire for the fuel gauge. So I have to disconnect that connector and then just lift the tank right off. And to access the battery, pull out this bolt, and then this plastic plate here with the ECU and everything will just flip out of the way. So there, clear access to the battery terminals. Now these wires off the stereo wire harness, I'm going to attach obviously the black ring terminal to the negative on the battery and the red ring terminal to the positive on the battery. Yellow one will connect to the additional harness to access keyed power. And then I'm going to run the wire just along the backbone here along with these brake lines, and I'll just loosely tie wrap it in place right now because I might want to adjust the wire forward or back as I get everything situated, figured out its exact placement. Okay, so I got this battery cover plate back in place. I made sure my fuse block on the stereo wiring harness was not trapped under there, or else this won't sit down flat over the battery. So I've got the wire harness run here now. The couple tie wrap there, and up there, all loose so I can move it back and forth to adjust it. So all these bar clamps here, there's 4 different sizes: 7/8, 1 inch, 1 1/4, and 1 1/2 inch. It's got 1 inch bars on it, so we'll be using the 1 inch clamps. So I've got the clamps just set in place here on the bars. These clamps that clamp on the bar here are the cam lock. Got to open it up, unscrew it a whole bunch, or all the way. Then that'll spread apart enough that you can snap it into place on there. I'm gonna just replace this on there. Just put that back. So this is one option then, to use this thing at full height, and it'll go under the clamps there with the screws upright. But I think that's going to be too tall. It would block some of the view of the road immediately in front of you. So instead I'll take off these bottom parts and just mount, I believe it's this portion right here, directly onto the clamps. Of course, now to disconnect it here, I've got to get in at the head of the bolt down in there. So I got to take this cam out again because the screw going across there is in the way. Okay, so I got the clamps set up on here and fairly straight. Now I'll just do a quick just test fit of the stereo head unit on there. Okay, so there's a test fit. That's as good as it's gonna get. It's not gonna get any lower than that. Well, for tightening these screws, a regular Allen wrench wouldn't fit in there, but I did have this cut down one that was the right size. So that worked out perfectly. There, now got it installed with the cam locks on there. Now, this ridiculously huge aluminum thing is supposed to plug in here. Of course, now the handlebar is in the way of having a straight shot at that, so that sucks. Okay, now I got it to plug in by rotating the whole assembly forward on the clamps. So now I got enough room, but this plug-in is still just ridiculous. But it's nice and secure, and of course watertight. You plug it in and then you screw this collar that's threaded there, and that'll secure it so it doesn't fall out. To make sure I got enough slack, I turned the handlebars all the way to the right, and then tie wrapped the wire harness to this big wire harness on the neck. It goes over the neck, and then just pulled it back. Tightened up all my tie wraps along there, and then a little bit of slack is over in here. I'm going to throw the fuel tank and the windshield back on it, and then the final thing will be to hook up the keyed power wire. Okay, so then we got this adapter wiring harness here. Harley-Davidson makes one, but this is a identical unit, and this comes from Ultra Cool. So now here under the right side cover, the accessory connector
that we'll be using is right here. It's just plugged into a dummy cap right there. So we're just going to take our adapter harness, plug that into there. Purple wire is going to be the keyed ignition accessory power wire, so I've just stripped the end of that. And then this comes with this rubber boot on this other connector to protect it from water. We'll take this one and put that back on that dummy connector. Basically find a place to tuck these wires and stuff. We'll wrap them up in place, and then I'm going to I'll put a connector on the end of that wire, and that's going to connect to the yellow wire from the stereo wiring harness, and then we'll be finished up. Here we are. I've got a blade connector on purple wire there, a little bit of heat shrink on there, the mating blade connector on the yellow wire on the stereo harness with some shrink wrap. And we'll just connect those together. Get some tie wraps in there to clean things up, hold things in place, and then fire up the radio. So now the sound test. Just put this thing in accessory mode. Is that thing gonna turn on there? Got some blue lights going. There's power. Power. Ooh, power on. All right, Bluetooth light is blinking, so I can turn on Bluetooth on my phone and pair to the device. It shows as 2724 on the phone.
Bluetooth paired.
Oh, all right. Let's see if it makes noise.
We'll send in the next patient.
Two neat features of this Wanderbar. One is that there's a USB on the side here to charge your phone from, and also on this side is a flashlight. Just press the flashlight button. Nice LED flashlight there. If you want to see more random garage things, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you get a random notification when a new random garage video is posted. When you're in the Sturgis area, find me at Exit 32 Fit Shop. As always, thanks for watching, and remember, whatever you do, make sure you're always doing something.